I started in the United States Army in 1993. I was a military police officer. And when I came in the military, I didn't even know that working dogs really existed. I didn't know it was a profession. I didn't know that was something you could do. And when I started learning more about the working dogs and what they do for the military, it was something I kind of set my sights on to be a part of. So it wasn't until after I got out of the military, I started working with the police department, civilian police department. And my goal there was to become a K-9 handler and a K-9 trainer, and that's what I did. And when I became that, I really started learning more about the impact that you can put on lives in the community and things like that, that really just not only enhances the safety, but the role model that K-9s and their handlers play. And I call it the most honorable profession in the world.
Talk to me about that relationship between a handler and their service dog. What is that like?
It's a bond like no other. When you have a K-9 partner and they're with you 24/7, a lot of times you're closer to your K-9 partner, like when I have my dog Flash, than you are your family. They go to work with you, they come home with you. They go to vacation with you, they go on vacation with you, and they do other things that you're just inseparable. And it's just a bond that you can't really describe. And that's why when I founded Project K-9 Hero, it's so important to me to make sure that these heroes are being looked after in their retirement. And, you know, we'll talk a little bit about why that is, but they mean so much to their handlers, and we want to make sure that they're living in the fullest and most productive and happy life that they can.
So before you started Project K-9 Hero, what did the life of some of these service dogs look like once they were retired, once they've done their full tour of service, whether it be for police dogs or military dogs? What happens after they retire?
Well, currently, we've gotten a lot better as a society where we're not leaving dogs behind in war zones as much. We're not seeing them put down like they were in the Vietnam War. So we've made great strides in that and passing laws and legislation. However, most of the dogs today get to stay with their handler, and people think that's great. But a lot of them are having cancer, lymphoma. We have a dog in the ER today with a chemotherapy for maybe an amputation from a bone cancer. So in no way is a first responder, a police officer, a soldier, airman, or Marine capable of paying for those expensive surgeries, medications, office visits, sometimes $5,000, $10,000, or $15,000 or more.
So that's on the handler. That's their responsibility once they adopt to cover all of the health issues that happen with these dogs.
Yes. So specifically in the United States military and the federal government, there's just no programs in place. Okay. Some of the local agencies have set up funds where, may they get a stipend, so much per month, so much per year. But in no way does that really help with a serious issue. It might help pay for some food. It may help with some prescriptions, but it's not going to help with a major surgery.
I mean, I can speak as a owner of a senior dog. Those bills add up, and they add up quickly, and you never want to be in a position where you have to make the decision between health care of a family member, right? And this is a civilian dog, right? We're not talking about dogs who have been in action or have, served at the side of some of our first responders. What is that like as a burden on their handlers who do choose to adopt them?
It's a huge burden because two things happen. Without the help of an organization like Project K-9 Hero, either they go into extreme personal debt, they have to put on their credit cards. When you go into these vet places for an emergency, you have to put the credit card down right at that moment, and that might be $5,000, $10,000. Let's say it's bloat. We're all kind of familiar with a bloat. I mean, those surgeries are expensive. Drop that credit card, or they have a nice care credit, something that has interest rate that jumps up after so much time, right? And so, either they go into financial debt or the dog simply goes without. So when I founded Project K-9 Hero, those are the things I want to avoid. I was a former military police officer. I was a former police officer, and I was in the federal service. So it's important to me to make sure they don't go in debt, because I know they're not getting paid any extra money out there. Right. And some of our soldiers, specifically and police officers, they don't have the ability to get a second job. They can't go out and work part-time somewhere. Some of their jobs don't even allow for that. So, and then most importantly, we don't want to see the dog go without, because that's what used to happen. The dog would simply go without or have to be euthanized because someone just couldn't pay the bill.
So this isn't you doing this for fun. You have dedicated your life, your career to this. Talk to me about how you made that transition from, being a service member into dedicating your life to Project K-9 Hero.
Yeah, it was a hard choice for me at the time, but now it's one where I look back on, I'm so glad I did, because you can really never grow as a nonprofit until you fully dedicate your time to it, and a lot of people look at how a nonprofit's ran, and we did really great last year with 88% program services, only 5% are administration, which is great. So now I'm able to do this for a living. But at the time when I started in 2016, I was still a full-time government employee, and the government doesn't really want you to talk about your nonprofit when you're at work or outside of work or certain things, right? They want you to focus on your government job. Mm-hmm. And I was working in the K-9 program for the United States, like the dogs you see at the airport that sniff for passengers for explosives. I worked in that program, and I thought we're never going to get to the level I want to be if I don't just do this full time. And I took $500 out of my pocket that year in 2016 and started this organization. And this year we hope to raise over $5 million.
How do we help you raise that money?
Well, donations obviously help. We have over 500 dogs pending application. We're committed to putting in 52 new dogs a year. So that's one hero a week. And each week we put that new hero in, we're committing, I estimate, between $20,000 and $25,000 in the lifetime of that dog. They might be in for a year. They might be in for 5 years. Some dogs are still fairly young when they come in. But the financial helps. And for the dogs who can't stay with their handlers, we have a 177-acre rehabilitation rehoming facility in Tennessee. And the ones are going to be euthanized otherwise, where they have aggression issues or they just run out of a place to stay because of family situation. It could be anything. We have that available for them. And everything can be donated on projectk9hero.org. And we have a donate button. We have ways that you can, people sometimes leave us estates. Sometimes people do 401k transfers. We're set up for that. We have a shop on projectk9hero.org, which has our apparel. Hats.
Is this sweet sweatshirt that you're wearing, this hoodie that you got on today?
This is the military working dog Rosso hoodie. Rosso had surgery this week, $4,200.
Who is Rosso? Tell me about Rosso.
Rosso is one of our ambassadors. Over 2 years ago, he was going to be euthanized from the Air Force. He protected the last two presidents. He protected the president of Japan, served overseas in Operation Inherent Resolve and Operation Spartan Shield. Did over 10 Secret Service missions around the world. And when his time was up, he was just too aggressive to be adopted. And while he had a handler that loved him, that handler had a 6-month-old child. Yeah. And while he's still active duty and can still deploy, working on the presidential details and other things, how is his spouse equipped with a newborn to handle aggressive military working dog?
Right. And I can't imagine when you choose a career path as a handler that, that's part and parcel, that's part of the agreement.
Career, right. Yeah. And so the kennel master there reached out to me. I drove all the way to Washington State. I picked up Rosso, drove him back. That was December of 2021. He's still alive. He had emergency surgery this week, but he's doing well. He's recovering. And, it's just a good example of a military working dog who was trained to be like this.
Right.
Who was selected to act in the
He's top
center.
dog. You're protecting the president at that level. It's
Absolutely.
Like Secret Service.
And he protected Air Force bases and security. So, yes, he's supposed to be aggressive. He's supposed to be fierce, but he's also loyal. And he's very loyal to his handler. It was never a problem with his handler. It was anyone who came around that wasn't his handler.
I know a little bit about that at home.
So, So Rosso, that's his personality, but that doesn't mean that he should be put down after his service. So he lives out at a 177-acre rehabilitation rehoming center in Tennessee, and he's doing wonderful. He's 13, and this is a Rosso sweatshirt, and we have a lot of different apparel at projectk9hero.org that has other dogs on it. We have a Duke one and an Arlo one, and we have one with Flash, who I wanted to get into Flash because Flash was
Tell me about Flash.
My police canine that helped me start this program.
Who's Flash?
Well, Flash was my police canine when I worked in Yakima, Washington, and we were there together until I went overseas in 2008, and she had to stay. I took a job protecting the ambassador of the United States.
How do you explain that that?
Some people
Flash?
say they would never leave their dog behind, but I was given an opportunity, and I will tell you that I wouldn't be the founder of this organization if I hadn't made these career moves in my life. So protecting the ambassador in Iraq and Afghanistan as a dog handler was a big deal to me. It was an opportunity I just really couldn't pass up. And Flash had to stay. And she worked with 2 additional handlers, but when she retired in 2013, I was an instructor outside the D.C. area for the federal government, and I was given a call to get her back. And I got her back in retirement. And she had Lyme disease. She had over 3,000 deployments rough on her body. And I noticed then, even though she had seized millions and millions of dollars of assets and cash in narcotic-related currency and things, none of that can help with her retirement. So we have a lot of dogs in our program like that who might work in Border Patrol or might work, on a local drug task force. And they do all these great things, but none of those funds go to their retirement. So, she really opened my eyes to what it was like as a hero. In 2018, she was named the Law Enforcement Dog of the Year in America. We were in Beverly Hills. That was through the American Humane. We're on the Hallmark Channel, and it was amazing. And so she got her recognition.
Oh, good.
And we have 2 children's books that I wrote. One's called K-9 Flash Becomes a Hero, and the other's K-9 Flash, a Hero's Hero. And they're true stories about our life and how we started Project K-9 Hero and how we're helping dogs all across the nation. And both of those can be purchased on our website at project9hero.org.
Do you think these dogs know that they're heroes? Do you think that, you know when you have a special dog, right? One that obviously you're connected to and you think the world of them, but do you think these dogs who have done so much service for us and for our public servants, that they also know that they're something extra special?
I think they do. I think the way they're treated like celebrities and superstars. If you look at pictures of Flash, she's on the red carpet there at the Beverly Hilton. There's pictures of her online. Any of our ambassadors, they all get the special treatment, and they should. These dogs put their lives on the line for us. They specifically the ones in the military and the police that we help, without question, without hesitation. They don't ask questions. They do what's expected of them, and they love to do it. And for that, I always say, one of our taglines is protecting those who protected us. And that's what we do at Project K-9 Hero. We protect those who protected us.
When you started dipping your toe into this life's work that you're doing, you are a CEO of a nonprofit. That has got to keep you up at night. Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and go, what am I doing right now?
Well, to wake up in the middle of the night, you'd have to sleep.
That's true. Well, that's true.
No, it's super important. Hardest part of my job, applications come in every day. I know financially we only can put in 1 hero a week. So we may get up to 15, 20 applications, and I have to choose which one we're going to change the lives of. Now, people think of Project K-9 Hero helping the dogs. True. But we're not just helping the dogs. When we pay that medical bill, or we take them in for life and pay all their medical bills, that's helping the first responder, the soldier, the airman, the Marine. And that's changing the lives of their family. That's now that their kids can go to college. They don't have to pay that $10,000. They can take their family on that vacation like any other working American can do. Because if not, they were going to spend that money on their dog. And I just feel that, we're working with Congress. I've been in D.C. here recently.
Good.
And we're working with Congress to change that, to help nonprofits like ours get funding to help these retired heroes, just to make sure they get the medical care they deserve.
Do you think as you were doing this, there was anything that surprised you about running your own nonprofit? Coming from your background and the service you've given to our country, is there anything that surprised you about running a nonprofit?
It's probably a lot more work than anyone would ever think it would be. We're in a good spot because we get a lot of great PR and people kind of understand. Most people who like us like police and military, but not everybody does. And, there's every day I have to delete comments or deal with people who are negative towards police and military dogs. And I don't really see a reason for that, but, I understand that not everybody supports them. Maybe they had a bad encounter with them. But I think the general public really does get behind what we do. And for me, trying to get our facility built where we need the most help. Donating financially online is great, but I'm looking for corporations who want to partner with us to get that rehab, rehoming facility built. We have dogs in waiting that are going to be euthanized otherwise because I don't have room for them. We have the space. We have the 177 acres, but we have plans to build a new 14-run kennel, indoor play area, adoption cabins, all of these things. I'm looking for corporations who want to put their name on them, who want to get involved and whatever their company name is, we can put their name on them and help us build those. So hopefully someone's listening who wants to get involved and put their name on a rehab, rehoming center. And in the plans we have, it'll be the most comprehensive that I know of in the world. And we'll take police canines and military working dogs and from all over the nation. And we have one there from Vancouver, British Columbia right now. So we're international. And his name's K-9 Blitz. He's at our facility. So we're working internationally now. And so I just hope, because when people donate to our cause, and we did a little over $4 million last year, I hope to do over $5 million this year. And with that 88% program services and stuff, they want to see it go right to that bill. Right. And they want to see it go right into the dog food or the prescription or the medicine, right, which is great. But when you're building a building and you got to bring a water line in off the road and you got to worry about the septic of the kennels, okay, nobody really takes that into account. That'll cost money too as part of the program. So I think some of the biggest holdup for me has just been getting that help to get those buildings built, and that's where we really could use it the most.
So Jason, why don't you tell us again, if you are a business that's hearing this and you'd like to be a part of the cause, or if you're an individual donor who wants to help out, or if you just want more information about the program, where can they find that information?
Yeah, it's at projectk9hero.org. It's project, letter K, number 9, hero.org. And we have a contact us on there. I answer every email personally. Hundreds of emails a day, but, I'll make sure I see it. And, we're really thankful for the support that we do get. Organizations like iHeartRadio who wants to get out there and promote what we do and promote, our mission to the world. It's super important. And I'm hoping that someone who's listening wants to help support by putting their name on a building and helping us get these up, because it's sad to me to know that I have the space, but I don't, space as in the acreage, but I don't have the facilities right now to save lives of heroes that served our country. And, I say all the time that they spent their career protecting us, and I'm going to spend the rest of mine protecting them.